Hello everyone, welcome to Board Games with Scott Live. I'm going to be talking today about Adventure Island. So Adventure Island by Pegasus Spiel Games. This is a game I've been wanting to play for a while. I like this kind of adventure game, and this one was intriguing to me because it's simpler than many of them. There's adventure games out there that have a whole lot of crazy stuff going on. This one is simpler, and that's a good thing. I think it's more of a family-friendly game. It is a bit of a legacy game. So what I mean by that is the game comes with 5 adventures. We're going to be playing through the first adventure today. Now, I've tried it once and failed, so we'll try it again to see if we can succeed or if we fail. And then what goes on is as you play the game, you get to open up these packs and add in new cards to your game. There's a curse pack and a cave pack and a pirate pack and all that stuff. So the game has 5 adventures. Now it can all be reset, and then you can play it again, or you can pass it along. I'm not sure how much replayability it has, how much you learn as you do it, or if you want to, I could see wanting to take it on again. But it's clever. So all the cards have a number on them. So there's a number, these are the 100s. So all the 100s cards are going to be used in the first game. And then you save your decks, and then you go open up the decks for the 200, 3, 4, and 500. And that's how the game, so it's a 5-game legacy game. Now that's nice. If you've played other legacy games where there's some history that goes on, they can take a long time. You can play many, many games. This is 5 games. Each game is like 45 to 90 minutes. So it seems like it's a pretty accessible adventure-style legacy game. Totally resettable, then you can start and play again and play through the 5 adventures. There's a number of adventures. I'm going to be playing this as a 2-player game because there's not a solo rule setup. The game does come with 6 adventures that you can take in, and so we've picked 2 of them that we're going to be going in and playing the game. Now, the game is set up. It's got a nice little organized box with all the cards that you're going to be delving into as the game goes on. So I'm going to have to keep this handy because I'll go and dig into there. A basic idea, the basic mechanism of the game is dice challenges. So you have dice, and the dice have green, yellow, and red spaces. So it looks like there's 3 green, 2 yellow, 1 red. When you have a challenge, you're going to roll a number of dice equal to your character's statistic, and that's a knowledge of 2. I would roll 2 dice, and then it will tell me what color I need. So whether I need to get green, yellow, or red. It's actually super elegant. I have to say I'm really impressed with the way that they've put both quite a bit of complexity into what's a very simple system to execute. You don't have to think about it too much. So I've been quite impressed with how easy it is to play this game. Now each character, there's 3 stats. There's knowledge, skill, and strength. And then each character has a special ability. So we have Jamie. Jamie is a botanist and has fled her homeland due to a great secret. Her ability is whenever I get 1 or more food as an action, I take an additional food from the supply. Hygris is a strong person, and so his action is during an action in which you roll with strength. After you roll, you may turn 1 die to show a green strength. So his ability will be helpful if I'm doing a green strength challenge, but it won't be useful if I'm doing a yellow or red strength challenge. Her ability is useful when I get food, and I need to do one more thing to set up the game. So I have to put 10 food on this space on the, I'm missing, oh, I reset everything too far and I'm missing a card. Please stand by. Technical difficulties on the island. I'm missing my main card where I get food. There's a card that you have out, 102. There we go, search for food. That's gonna be a really important card to have out. So let me get that card out. As I said, I played it once before, and it does tell you what to put out. So in this case, we have a beach where we can go into this flotsam deck. We have an explore your surroundings where we can go into this place deck and find things. And then the other 2, one allows me to search for food, and one allows me to build a shelter. And I know it says at the start of the game, put 10 food from the supply on this card. So let me get my 10 food out here. And there we go. So you get 2 actions with each of your characters. You can choose the order in which they act, then they take 2 actions. Many of the actions are shown on the cards by a red arrow. So for example, this one, red arrow, draw a flotsam card. So I can take that action for one of my 2 actions, and then it says if the deck is empty, then discard this card. Some cards are double-sided, and so it changes once you've done certain things. And so this one, for example, I can draw 1 place card and put it face up. if there are 2 face-up place cards, flip this card over. So something else happens after I've done a little bit of exploring of the island. So that's clever. Now, there's a goal for each of the games, as it says in the rules. So in game 1, tells me to put cards 101, 2, and 3, and 4 in the game. So those are there. And here's the story. Ready for story time? You have washed ashore on a deserted island. Hopefully, you'll know what you need to survive. You don't know anything about the weather here, or if there are any dangerous animals, so you should look for shelter and try to light a fire. Goal, find shelter and light a fire. That's it. That's your goal. So that's all we know going in. So I can see one of my choices here is build a shelter, so I'm assuming that's something I should try to accomplish. I don't at this point see any way to make fire, so hopefully I'll be able to figure that out as the game goes on. So you take 2 actions with each of your characters, and then you have a night phase. In the night phase, you have to eat 1 food for each person. If you don't eat a food, they will get fatigued. Now, fatigue is your damage in the game. You've got, if you're playing with 4 players, each person has 3 spaces for fatigue. If you're playing with 2 players, you get to use these 2 spaces as well. So I have a total of 5 fatigue each person can take. If I have to put on a 6th fatigue onto someone, I then lose the game. And that's how I lost last time. So that's the idea, is you want to wear both people out at the same time. So at night, you will also draw hazard cards, which are bad things for each character. So at night, you have to feed everyone 1 food. If you don't have food, you have to give them a fatigue, and then you have to draw a hazard card. And then you go back out and you do it again. So I think that's all you need to know to get right into it. Now, our first goal is we don't have any food, so I definitely need to get some food. So I think we're going to do search for food, because if I fail at search for food with one character, I can search for food with the other character. So on search for food, my action is to roll 3 dice. For each yellow circle, gets 2 food from this card. Now, Jamie's special ability is whenever I get 1 or more food from an action, I get an additional food from the supply. So that's very good. So we're going to have her search for food. So she's going to go here, and we're going to roll 3 dice. Oh, and for rolling the dice, I have a handy-dandy. This is a wooden dice tower that I've had for probably 20 years, because I'm an old gamer, and that's the kind of thing we have around as old gamers. So I roll 3 dice, and then for each yellow circle, I get 2 food. I got 1 yellow circle, so I get 2 food. Now, her ability is if I get 1 or more food from an action, I take another one from the supply. Now, there's food, which is like in a little cooking pot. You can also get fish and meat, which do count as food, but they also might have other effects. So we'll see how that goes as we go. So that's her first action. So now we have enough food for tonight. She doesn't need more food. So second action is probably go to the beach. Now, I can't go build a shelter right now, and here's why. Some cards have an arrow ability at the top, and the arrow thing says put 3 wood on this card. If it has an arrow ability, that means you have to be able to do that before you can access the card. So in this case, I have to find 3 wood to put 3 wood on this card so that then I can access this card. I can continue on the card. Once I've got 3 wood on the card, then I can attempt to build shelter, and there's instructions on how I do that. But right now I can't do that because I don't satisfy the first requirement, which is an arrow. So we're going to have her second action. So that's the first action, and her second action is to go to the beach. So we're going to draw 1 flotsam card. So flotsam card is random stuff. So we found a propeller, an old propeller. With some wood, ingenuity, and a lot of hard work, you might be able to make a tool. I already have a tool. I have Hagris. Anyway, so there to use this card, I'm going to have to put 1 wood on this card. Let's see. That's not readable yet. Focus you. Anyway, maybe this way. It's going to be better. That's all illegible, isn't it? There, that's a little better. So put 1 wood on the card, and then the action is to roll knowledge. It shows the little green knowledge symbol, which means I'm going to roll the dice equal to my knowledge ability. For every green symbol I get, that's a good thing. So in this case, I have 1 green. It's showing roll 1 green symbol. So I roll my knowledge. If I get 1 green, then I succeed. And then it says if you succeed, roll green strength. If you succeed again, discard this and bring card 130 into play. So first I have to get wood, then I have to put the wood on the propeller, then I have to do both a knowledge and a strength test to be able to turn this into a tool. So that's a pretty big challenge. She has that now. You can trade stuff at night. You can also trade stuff if you are on the same space. So she ended at the beach. So if he goes to the beach, then he would have the ability to take this from her if she was willing to give it up. So that's how you trade stuff, is you just go to the same physical location. That's for 2 actions. Now we go on to Hagris. All right, so Hagris probably needs to find stuff because we need to find wood in order to build a shelter. That's a pretty important thing. So we're going to go out and look at the flotsam. So we found driftwood. Get 1 wood and discard this card. So there we go. We got a wood. Supplies like food and wood just go on the camp. Cards get attached to a person. So that's his first action. Second action, I think it's just let's continue looking for more wood. So we found 2 wood. Okay, that's great. That means next turn I'm going to be able to start building a shelter, and that's going to be important. That's one of my goals to win the game, is to build a shelter. So there we go. I got some old planks and I got wood. Now it's nighttime. Nighttime, scary time. First thing we have to eat. So I have to discard 1 food for each person. So that's 2 food that are gone. Now I draw a hazard card and apply it for each person. So first, Jamie's hazard. Here we go. Unexpected wave. Roll strength with a red or get 1 fatigue. So that's what that is showing me there. It's roll strength or get a fatigue. So what I have to do then is her strength is 2. She is not the strong player. One of these 2 dice has to be a red dot in order to not get a fatigue. So let's see what happens. And I got 2 green. So I did not succeed at my roll. So I take 1 fatigue. Now, this game does something very nice that I wish other adventure games would do. And designers take this as a lesson. Whenever you fail in this game, you learn something. And the way it works in this game is whenever you fail, you get a star. Now, this star can be used later on to re-roll the dice from a roll. There are also other things in the game that you spend stars on. So when you fail, you don't get nothing. You get experience, which is going to make it more likely for you to succeed in the future. This is a really good mechanism to use in adventure games because it helps offset the randomness of bad things. It helps give you something that makes you feel okay about failing. You still get something that's going to help you, and it makes sense. If you try to do something and you fail at doing it, you're going to learn a little something. So you're going to be more likely to do it right next time. So that's her. That is that hazard. We get rid of that, and we pick a hazard for Hagris. Mosquitoes. So mosquitoes, it says roll a red skill or get 1 fatigue. So his skill is 3. So now we're going to roll 3. And we're looking for 1 red dot. And we got 1 red dot. Yay! So he slaps the mosquitoes. Of course he does with his fists. He slaps the mosquitoes and they just explode. So that's it for Hagris became German, by the way, in case you didn't realize that. That was my very bad male German accent, which is a very bad one. Although it's not quite as creepy as my little old man German accent. But we won't use that one right here. Anyway, here we go. Let's go on with the game. Never mind. We'll move on. Okay, so next day. So we only have 1 food. We need more food. I think we're going to go with the same idea of getting more food. So we're going to send Jamie out to search for food because if Jamie fails at this, then Hagris can come along and search for food. So Jamie's going to go look for food. We're going to roll 3 dice. For each yellow, we take 2 food. We did not get a yellow. Now, this could be a time where I spend the star to get a reroll, but I think I'm going to save the star for when it's really critical. So we're going to try again. So her second action will also be to search for food. So 1 yellow. Okay, we got 2 yellow. So for each yellow, get 2 from this card. So we get 2 and 4. And then we get 1 from the supply because of her special ability. Okay, that's great, but that is all for our action. So she's there on the search for food space. Now we have 3 wood, so we can go to build a shelter. So the build a shelter. So the first expense is put 3 wood on the card. So we do that. Now, we can try our action, which is and we're going to do either skill or strength. So strength is 4 dice, and for each green I roll, I get to put 1 check mark on the card. At 6 or more check marks, I get to flip the card over and bring card 105 into play, whatever that happens to be. So here we go. Now he's got the abilities during an action, whenever I roll with strength, after the strength symbol is the strong arm, and I keep thinking about Danny Plays Games whenever I see that. So this is going to become Danny Brown. During an action in which you roll with strength, after you roll, you may turn 1 die to show a green. So I know I will definitely get at least 1 green out of this. So here we go. So I got 2 green. I can turn 1 to a green because of his special ability. So I got 3 greens. So 3 greens gets me 3 check marks on the card. that is halfway to building a shelter. So that is great. If I can get 3 more, I'll build the shelter. Now I could go again and see if I can pull it off in one round, and I think I will. I'll see how this goes. So again, we're going to try it again. We're going to roll 4 dice. This is our second action, so we're building a shelter for the second action. And we got 1 green. We can flip 1 to a green because of his special ability. So that gives me 2 more successes. It's not the 6 I needed, but it's 5. So that's good. I almost have built a shelter, but not quite. And that's the end of the day. So we finished the round there. Now it's nighttime. We have to eat. So we each eat 1 food. And then we have our hazards. So first hazard is ants. Ants. Discard half the group's food, round it up. So I have 4 food, I lose 2 food from ants. If you have meat or fish, it's not affected. For each yellow hand or yellow head knowledge that you roll, discard 1 fewer. Oh, okay, so I actually should do that first before I discard it. All right, so let's talk about game design here. So that they've made a mistake in how they've presented this card. So the first action they say is to discard the food. And then the second thing they say is for each hand or head that you roll, discard 1 fewer. The way this card, but you see what happened, is I followed the instructions of the card in order. I discarded the food, and then later on I hit this check that said, oh wait, to see if you slap away the ants. These steps should be presented in the order in which you apply them. So therefore, first thing I should do, it should say make a check, and then discard half, and for each one of these that you roll, discard 1 fewer. So whenever you're presenting instructions to players, present them in the order in which they're supposed to be taking the actions. So anyway, I've got skill of 4, so for every yellow hand I can roll. So this is nice. So my skill is 4, so I roll the dice, and every yellow I get. You see how elegant that is? As far as doing skill checks, it's built in that you have green, 3 green, 2 yellow, 1 red. So the difficulty of it has to do with the color that you're having to roll. I like that. It's something that it would be harder to do if these were numbered dice. If these were pips, numbers on dice, it'd be harder to pull that off. But with colors, you can pull it off very easily. So in this case, green isn't good. Yellow is the only good side I want to see. So I'm going to roll her skill, which is her hand, every yellow. And so I rolled 2 yellow, so I actually don't lose anything. Hooray! So we're going to get rid of that card. So now we go into Hagris, and Hagris got hunger pains. Discard 2 food. If you can't, discard as much food as you can and get 1 hunger. So, all right, Hagris is very hungry. So Hagris eats a lot, but that's okay. We had the food. It's good. All right, next round. Now, this round, so I don't actually have to search for more food, and as we saw from the ants, it's not good to stockpile food because you can get things that eat half your food. So I don't actually want to stockpile it. I think I'm going to let Hagris go first this time, and I think I'm going to try to finish that shelter. So he's going to try to finish the shelter. He's going to roll his strength again. We're looking for 1 green. We got bunches of greens, so we succeeded. At 6 or more, discard the 3 wood, but get 1 fatigue. So we've got a fatigue there. Remember, if you have to put a fatigue token on, you can't. You lose the game. And then flip this card over and bring card 105 into play. So that's his first action. I flip it over, and it says shelter. So this shelter is take an action to discard a fatigue. So now I have a way to get rid of fatigue if I need to, but it says this isn't a safe shelter. Keep searching. So, dun, 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 I have to keep looking for shelter. But I need to bring in card 105. So now I go back into the deck here and back into the box where I've now smushed the cards everywhere. Come here, you. They're sliding. There we go. Okay. So I need card 105. And this is kind of cool. There's a thing that protects you from seeing the cards, except there's a little cutout that shows you the number of the card that's on top. So all of these are the 100 cards that could come into game. And so that keeps you from seeing one of them by accident. So card 105 is light a fire. Hey, I have a way to now light a fire. So light a fire is, there we go. So we can see I spend an action to discard 1 wood. If I roll a yellow brain, so that's knowledge, so I don't have a knowledge 4 on anyone, then flip this card over and bring card 106 into play if it is not already. Okay, so now this is one of my goals to get a fire lit. So now I need to get more wood so I can try to light a fire. So that was good. Okay, so actually I haven't explored my surroundings at all. So I think I'm going to send Hagris out to go explore my surroundings and see what we find. So here we go. We found a jungle, all right? In the jungle, the mighty jungle. In the focus, there it is the magic spot of focus. Okay, so I roll for each strength, then get 1 wood. If you have the axe, I don't have an axe, get an extra wood. If your roll contains 2 reds, a snake bites you, bring card 131 into play. That doesn't sound very good. Okay, so off to the jungle. So we're going to try to explore the jungle. So I have it because he's still got a second action. So I can roll my strength, which is 4. Every green gets me 1 wood. Again, my ability will be very nice in avoiding a snake bite because I get to change one of the sides over to green. So here we go. I got 2 green. There's a red. I'm going to turn that to green. So that got me 3 green. That got me 3 wood. That's nice. All right. There we go. So that is now always available here. Let's see if I can put it to where we can see it. There we go. So that is now someplace I can go and visit all the time. You know what? I'm going to move this camp down here because you don't really need to be looking at the camp. And move these cards down so that you can see the second row of cards. How's that sound for a plan? There we go. Now we got light of fire. And we got our jungle, so we got another place to get wood. Sounds like a plan. Okay, and actually I'll stick the camp up here with all my resources. Okay, good. I can put it over here. That was good. That's really good. I'm doing much better this game than I did in the last game, that's for sure. And it's because you're with me. You're giving me support. You're the reason I'm succeeding. And if I fail, it's going to be your fault. So don't let me down. All right, here we go. So Jamie is not yet gone. Now we have 2 food, so we have enough food to eat. So I don't need to scavenge for more food. I have wood, and so I kind of like lighting a fire. She's actually better to light a fire because she has more knowledge than Hagris. So her first action will be to light a fire. So we discard a wood. So in this case, you're throwing it away. If you fail, you've lost that resource. So that's too bad because I guess if you were trying to light a fire and you failed at lighting the fire, the wood would like disappear because you wouldn't have it. Now I light a lot of fires because I live out here in the country, and so I have to burn my brush because I don't have a way to get rid of it. And I can tell you, I sit there and curse a whole lot at that pile of brushwood in my fire pit trying to get rid of it. It doesn't disappear every time I fail to start a fire, because if it did, this would be a lot easier because then I would just try to start the fire and the wood would just all go away. But anyway. Who am I? Okay, so here we go. We're going to roll our knowledge. That's 3 dice. So we need to get 1 yellow. We got 1 yellow. Yay! We started a fire. All right, so flip this card over and bring card 106 into play if it is not already. So I have a campfire. Ooh. So the campfire is, I can swap any number of food and fish for 2 cooked food. Oh, so that's a nice way. If I can find a way to get meat or fish, I can turn it into the cooked food and double it. If you don't have the torch, I don't have the torch, roll 1 die at the beginning of the day. If you roll a red, the fire extinguishes and you must flip this card over. Oh, sad. So now I have another need. I need to get a torch in order to keep my campfire lit. So I have to pull out card 106. Card 106. Now we still have 1 more action with Jamie, and that is more light. Okay? So more light, and no, it's too close. Right here we go. I don't know. I figured out how to make it happy. It's not happy. Is this a thing where you, like the YouTubers do, I put the finger in front of it to keep it focused? Look at my finger. Anyway. Okay. You can only use this card if you have the campfire. So that's what the arrow says. You have the campfire. So that means if the campfire goes out, I have to relight the campfire before I can attempt this card. Then I discard a card. If I roll 1 yellow hand, then flip this card over. Okay, so that is my more light. Her hand is 4. That's her best stat. We have 1 more thing left to do. That's fantastic. We're going to try it. So here we go. I have the campfire. I'm going to discard a wood. So I have a wood. I need to get 1 yellow, and then I will have a torch, and that will be great because I can keep my campfire lit. And I got a yellow, yay! All right, so flip this card over, and I have a torch. Awesome. At night, you may also use stars when rolling for hazard cards. Oh, that's nice. The campfire does not extinguish. Okay, So this is really important. So I now have a torch, and that is wonderful. So the torch has a symbol. I see I did something wrong, which I can fix now. Cards that have a symbol on the top is an item, so she actually has that torch. The propeller does not have a symbol on the top, so it's just going to sit out here as an action anyone can take. So the cards that have a sun on the top is something you have to do at the start of every morning. I don't have to do that now because now I have a torch, so my campfire will stay lit. So that's great. Things are going well. I need to still get shelter together, but I have fire. So that's fantastic. So that is it for the day. That was a really good day. And so now we go into night. So we have to eat our food. So we're completely out of food. We're going to have to get more food. And now we'll draw a card for Jamie. Homesickness. Roll 2 brains, yellow brains. If I fail, either discard a food or get a fatigue. All right? So she has 3 knowledge. This is going to be a tough roll, actually, because I got to get 2 yellow on these dice, and these dice only have 2 yellow symbols on them. And I got 2 yellows. Well, I guess she's not that homesick because she's so happy with what she accomplished. Games are easy. And now ants, discard half the group's food. Guess what I have none of? No food. All right, we move on. Okay, so first we have to find food. I don't have any food right now, so Jamie is going to go off and search for food. So we're going to go there. We're going to roll 3 dice. We're looking for yellows. I got 1 yellow, which gets me 2 food, and then whenever I get 1 or more food from an action, I take an additional 1 from the supply. So that's good. Second action. All right, so now, if you remember, my goals here are to find shelter and light a fire. I've lit a fire, but I haven't found shelter. So I'm guessing I will need to search locations more. So I'm going to draw a place card, and we're going to see what we find. And I found a waterfall. It says to discard 1 food and roll 1 die, and that lets me discard fatigue. Finally, a bath. Okay, so that was actually my action there. I did something wrong earlier. I cheated. I explored my surroundings, then I did the jungle. I think I cheated. I don't know. Anyway, we won't worry about it. So that waterfall's there. That's a way I can get some stuff back. But now there are 2 face-up place cards. So I have to flip this card over. And so if I flip it over, it is now discover the island. So now I will have to spend provisions to search more places. So now to go explore, first I have to discard food or take a fatigue. And then if I roll a yellow hand, I may draw a place card and place it face up. If I have a telescope, I may draw and place the card instead on a green hand. So now I can't discover the island as easily. There are more place cards to be discovered. I'm assuming one of them is going to have shelter in it, but now it's harder to do. So I could try to use the propeller and turn that into a tool. I don't know if would a propeller become a telescope. Not in the real world, but this is a game world, so who knows. We'll go on to Hagris. I think we do have a wood, and we could use the wood to attempt to fix the propeller, but his knowledge is awful, but his strength is pretty good. I'm going to, or I could go explore further. I wonder, am I feeling gutsy here? Do I think I can roll? I'm going to go for it. He's like, give me that propeller. So we're going to throw away our wood. And so, oh no, we put 1 wood on the card. There. Okay. So I guess we don't throw away the wood, so that's good. That's now satisfied. So now I can continue to try this with just actions. So first I have to roll 1 green on 2 dice. That's not great odds, but it's not awful. I failed. Now I could spend a star and attempt to do it again. I think that what I'm going to do is get a star, and that'll be that first action because things are okay. So I'm going to take a second action, and I'm just going to try the whole thing again. So here we go. We're looking for a green. We got a green. So now we succeeded. So now we go on for the strength. Now we're going to roll 4. Now his ability means I get to move one of these to green. So this succeeds no matter what. I'm glad I've got that ability. Otherwise, I would have been in trouble. And I succeeded again. So I discard the wood and this card and bring card 130 into play. So let's see what card 130 is. And it is not a telescope. It's an axe. Okay, so I guess I could have thought that through, couldn't have I? What would you make out of propeller? Well, you'd make an axe. But who axed me? Anyway, Okay, so now I have an axe. When I have this, your strength is increased by 1 to a maximum of 5. Oh, Hagris has that. I probably want to give that to Jamie, though, because her strength is weak. On the other hand, I could take that axe into the jungle and go crazy, and I might just do that and get a whole bunch of wood in one action. But not this night, because now it's tired time, so now it's time to go to bed. So first we're going to eat 2 food. Nom nom. That's done. Now we're going to get a hazard for Jamie. A quiet night. Nothing happens. Oh, that's nice. Okay. Now we're going to get a hazard for Hagris. A storm. So much for a quiet night. I get one fatigue, and now flip the torch and campfire over or pay a star. Ho ho! I am glad I haven't wasted those stars on rerolls, because that would be awful to have to relight the torch and the campfire. So I just discard 1 star and say, ha ha. All right, good. Whew. All right, moving on. So now we have an axe. I think I want to get a big pile of wood. I think that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to send Hagris out to the jungle. He now has 5 strength. So here we go. Hopefully I don't get bitten by a snake. That's possible. I got 2 red, but remember his ability is whenever I roll a strength check, I can rotate one of the dice to a green. Ha ha! For each green, get 1 wood. So I got 3 wood. And if I have the axe, get an extra wood. So I got 4 wood. All right, so now I have a big pile of wood. That is good. Wood is good. Now it's Hagris's second action. I think I'd like to find the telescope. I'm assuming I will find it in the beach because it will help me explore these places, be a little more successful. I might have her try to discover the island because her skill is better, but we're going to go ahead and hit the... Oh, we need food. That's one of... Oh, shoot. I did this in the wrong order, didn't I? All right. I'm just going to... hopefully we'll find food. He's going to go and search the beach. More wood. Great. Another stick. What are we going to eat? Wood. What do you think this is? Stone Age? Okay. Now it's her turn. First thing, search for food. So here we go. Hopefully we get 1 yellow. We got a yellow. Woo! So we get 2 food there. And then the ability is whenever I get food, I take another one for supply. But now, when all 10 have been discarded from this card, you get rid of it. So search for food is now done. I have no obvious way to get food at this point. So now things are going to get a little dicey because it's a dice game. Okay. So there we go. I search for food. I have a second action. I think she's going to try to discover the island. So we discard a food or get a fatigue. Now I have 4 food in front of me. I think I'm going to go ahead and get a fatigue because I have that waterfall out, which will help me recover. I don't know. Food. Yeah. All right, I'll get rid of food. Because if I don't have a food and need it, I get rid of a fatigue anyway. And I'm more likely to get food than fatigue back. All right, so here we go. I need to roll 1 yellow. I'm doing a skill check. I'm rolling 4 dice for that. So we're looking for a yellow. We got 1. Hooray! I may draw 1 place card and put it face up. And we have found the Grotto. All right. I may enter if I have the torch. Ooh. Okay, but that's an action. I don't have any more actions left. I have to survive another night. Nighttime. Eat 2 food. I have 1 food remaining. I hope that Grotto is shelter. Now we have bad things. So we shuffle up the bad things deck. And here we go. Quiet night. So for her, nothing happens. For him, ants. Ants discard half the group's food. But I can roll to try and slap the ants. So we're going to try to slap the ants here. And here we go. We need 1 yellow. We got a yellow, so we discard 1 fewer. And we only had 1, so therefore we don't lose anything. So that's good. We made it through the night. Next day. Grotto. I have the torch. Who do I want to go into the grotto? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change. At night, you can change who has what. So I'm going to give Hagris the torch. And I'm going to give her the axe so that she's got 3 strength, just in case there's a strength thing coming. He's going to go here. You enter the grotto, bring card 199 into play. 199. There is hope. There is hope. This cave showed signs of habitation. It seems quite safe. Congratulations, you have successfully completed the first part. You are 1 step closer to success, but there are many more wonders to be discovered and challenges to be overcome. Flip this card over. Put cards 103, 110 into the archive. If you're ready for a new challenge, continue with Adventure 2. We made it! We made it! Yay! And you were there to help me. So there we go. We have succeeded at Adventure 1 on Adventure Island. So this game has 5 adventures. So that's the first one. I'm assuming as they go on, they get a little bit more longer, a little bit more complex. But this gives you, I really like the level of complexity in this game. I've liked this kind of game, you know, Robinson Crusoe, things like that, these adventure games. The problem is so many of them are so complex, and this one isn't complex, and I like that. I like that it's a good sort of family level game. This is something that you could play. Each session seems like you could play it in an hour and change, but you can still have that legacy sort of ongoing adventure spirit as you move forward. I feel that I could play this again. I could play year 1 again. Even though I know a few of the secrets, I could still enjoy doing it. You know, I've got like Seventh Continent, which is this massive, big multi-box series. And this is like, let's just pare it down and make it a nice short experience. And I like this a lot. So Adventure Island, there you go. First game completed. I like this game. I look forward to exploring more of it. But I'm not going to do it right now. Right now, it's going to be dinner time. And I'm going to go get me a big pot of gruel. How's that sound? You want some gruel? Anyway, take care, everyone. And I'll see you on another episode of Board Games with